everybody, I'm Kelsey Terrace with the Children's Museum of Cleveland, and today's story time is about one of my favorite topics. It's all about outer space. So we're going to hear two stories today about space. And the first story is called On the Moon, and it's by Anna Milbourne and Benji Davies. The moon is very far away. What do you think it would be like to go there? A few people have been to the moon. Astronauts went there to see what it was like. If you went to the moon, you'd be an astronaut too. To get to the moon, you have to go in a huge rocket. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. The astronauts sit in a tiny cabin at the very top. The rocket flies into space. There's nothing but stars and darkness all around. It takes 4 whole days to reach the moon. When you get there, you climb into a little spaceship and it flies down and lands gently on the moon. To go outside, you have to put on a spacesuit. There's no air on the moon, so spacesuits carry air so you can breathe. The moon is silent, empty, and dusty. There are huge mountains and big holes, but there are no trees or water, no animals or people. On the moon, you feel very light and floaty. When you walk around, you take big bouncing strides. You can jump really far, much further than you can at home. Astronauts sometimes go exploring in moon buggies. They collect moon rocks to bring back home. They take photos to show people at home what the moon looks like. Astronauts put a flag on the moon to show they have been there, and you can see our world from the moon. It looks tiny because it's so far away. When it's time to go, the astronauts blast off for home. The moon is left almost as it was before, apart from a flag and a buggy and some footprints in the dust. Do you think you'll ever go to the moon? The end. So friends at home, our next story is by one of my favorite authors. His name is Oliver Jeffers, and this story is called How to Catch a Star. Once there was a boy, and the boy loved stars very much. Every night, the boy watched the stars from his window and wished he had one of his very own. He dreamed of how the star would be his friend. They would play hide-and-go-seek, and they would take long walks together. The boy decided he would try to catch one. He thought that getting up early in the morning would be best, because then the stars would be tired from being up in the sky all night. The next day, he set out at sunrise, but he could not see a star anywhere. So he sat down and waited for one to appear. He waited, and he waited, and then he ate lunch. And then he waited, and after dinner, he waited some more. Finally, just before the sun was about to go away, he saw a star. The boy tried to jump up and get it, but he could not jump high enough. So very carefully, he climbed to the top of the tallest tree he could find, but the star was still way out of reach. He thought he might lasso the star with a life preserver from his father's boat, but it was much too heavy for him to carry. If only he could fly up in a spaceship and just grab the star. But the only spaceship he owned was made of paper, and it didn't fly very well. Perhaps he could get a seagull to help him fly up into the sky to reach his star. But the only seagull he could find didn't want to help. The boy worried he would never catch a star. Just then, he noticed something floating in the water. It was the prettiest star he had ever seen. Just a baby star. It must have fallen from the sky. He tried to fish it out with his hands, but when the boy reached out to touch the star, it just rippled through his fingers. Now the boy was sad, but in his heart, the wish just wouldn't give up. Slowly, he began walking home. And that's when he saw it, washed up on the bright golden sand. The boy had caught a star of his very own. The end. Friends at home, I hope you enjoyed our story time today featuring two